The American dream is to own your own home. And one thing, everybody knew that if you own your home and you own land, that was the most valuable thing you had, and the value would always be there. That was the idea, that if you bought a home for $200,000 or $300,000, it was worth $200,000 or $300,000. But this recession, Fannie and Freddie Mac, they allowed money, out, rightfully so people could buy their own homes. And all these community banks really promoted that because the federal government's doing it. Now all of a sudden, many people refinance, which is silly, refinancing their homes worth $200,000, $300,000 to $600,000 or $700,000. So there's a lot of complications, and all of a sudden we have people losing their homes. They're losing their home because of I call it mortgage fraud. How can an appraisal give somebody whose home is worth $300,000, $800,000? It's impossible. How could you give them that money? Why would you give them that money anyway? So how could you say your home at $300,000 is worth now $600,000 or $800,000? So you talk about criminal fraud, and we've asked the federal government to investigate all this. This is complete criminal fraud. Much of it is. And at the same time, people are losing their homes because they lost their jobs. They lost their jobs. And so there's a combination. So what we're trying to do is really work with people that we can take, as these good homes exist, the brick homes, we can take them. We're trying to put people back into their homes. Because when anyone leaves their home, it's abandoned. It becomes a liability for the city. Fire, police, graffiti, gangs, it's amazing. Neighborhood deterioration. So that is an issue that we want the federal government really to step up to. And all the banks, what are you going to do with these properties? You can't just sit there and wait for the court 2 or 3 years. So we're trying to qualify more and more people into categories, work with them so they can get in a home and they can afford a home and live in a home.
I think the city doesn't have anything to do with homeless people. I think that depends on the person. They can get a job, look somewhere, even if it's minimum wage. They can afford something with minimum wage. The city helps them by making projects. They can move into their, of course, having a job, and they have to look for a job. I was unemployed for a whole year, but I decided to go back to school, and that's how I found my job. Housing has become more expensive as time goes by, and rent is too. So I think that does have something to do with people not keeping their homes. They can't pay for it, and that's why they lose them.